We're back with another episode of Gav and M's How to English TEFL Pod. Which topics are we exploring this week?
Gav, we start with a little housekeeping, as usual. Then we cover speaking clearly and concisely.
We play Hide the Idiom with the followers.
We look at the difference between some very similar words.
You give me a fun science quiz and also give us some tips for our highly motivated students.
So, followers, if you enjoy our podcast, please mention us to your teacher, student, school, or anyone who might enjoy our show.
Now let's begin. Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and M.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given when necessary.
It's go time.
We're back on the pod. It's 2 hard weeks of teaching and learning. Have you made some notes over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm going to sneeze. No, it's gone.
Has it passed?
I hate that when that happens. It goes all tingly in your nose and it's not coming. So, okay, let's carry on. Yeah, I've had a good week, a good couple of weeks, thank you. Made lots of notes.
That's good. Me too. Before we actually commence, I think we need to do a little housekeeping.
As usual, what's this week's housekeeping about? I've got my broom ready to get into those corners.
You got your grammar broom.
I have. Let's sweep up.
And your vocabulary dustpan and brush.
Now, what did we do wrong last time?
Nothing. But
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say that expression you used last time, which was common or garden, is a really nice expression. You know what, Em?
What, Gav?
I learned that as a kid.
Did you really?
I thought it was communal. Communal garden.
It sounds a bit like communal garden. Share the garden. Everyone's happy.
I thought it was a mispronunciation of communal and saying communal garden, but it's a really nice expression. What does it mean?
Communal garden, referring to ordinary, run-of-the-mill, so to speak.
Not unusual.
Shouldn't use another idiom to describe an idiom, should I? But it just is very common. What's that word? When it's everywhere?
Abundant.
No.
Ubiquitous.
I love that word. So it's a bit like that. We were talking about the animal zebra in a group, and I remember thinking, wow, zeal or a dazzle, never heard of that. But herd, I mean, everyone knows the word herd.
That is pretty common and no. Or garden.
Common or garden. So that brings me, Gav, to think about what you've just said. Gav, when we're teaching our students, when we're talking to them, do you think it's really important to say everything very clearly? Or do you think we should speak as we speak in the world? You know, common or garden. It could sound to a student a bit like communal garden, and they might pick that idiom up and start using it incorrectly. So how would you deal with that in a classroom?
It depends on many factors, Em. What level is my student? What am I trying to teach at the time? Am I tired? There's a number of things.
I'm thinking a very high-level class where you as a teacher speak quite naturally and you just throw in a couple of idioms here and there. And if you don't really pronounce those idioms very clearly, they won't actually get the words. But if you do pronounce it really clearly, it's going to sound a bit artificial.
Interesting point, Em. What you can do is to write the idiom on the board or in the chat. Or what I sometimes do is I don't draw attention to it and I see if students can understand from context what I'm talking about.
Would you then ask them afterwards, do you know what that idiom is? Or have you heard that idiom before? Because you are in a lesson after all.
If the lesson was about teaching idioms, I might. If it wasn't and I wanted to focus more on past continuous, then no.
So you might just put it in the chat for them to reference later if they want to. Or, write it on the board like you said.
I do. And also, I often at the end of the lesson give the class about 5 minutes and say, read back through the chat or have a look at the board. Do you want to check any of the language or the expressions on there? And then hopefully they will ask me, what does common or garden mean, Teacher Gav?
Yeah, and I guess there's a lot of people walking around using these idioms incorrectly, but they sound okay. They sound quite close to the actual idiom. So if you say common or garden or communion, I can't say it, or communal garden. Kind of know what you mean.
As long as it's in the right context and it's not just a complete misunderstanding of the expression.
Yeah, I guess if they use it in the lesson incorrectly, then that's the time to really come down hard and correct them.
Absolutely. Another quick mention, Em. You remember what the back of a chair is?
Splat?
Yes, it came up in our last episode.
It's memorable.
It's amazing that you remember it was called a splat. Maybe I should expand a little bit on that, Em.
Going to make the splat bigger.
I'm going to make more than a splat. You can have a splat, which is the central wooden piece in the back of a chair, which became popularised in the mid-18th century. Splat backs can
Splatbacks.
Splatbacks can have a central structure and come in many different designs. For example, you might have a waterfall back.
Wait a minute, a waterfall splatback?
I think it's a form of splat, so this is simply a waterfall back. Good option for people with sore pressure points or spinal curvature. You've got lateral backs designed for people who need extra support on the sides. Button backs, a classic comfortable look. And on top of splat backs, you might have a crossback, a Windsor, a ladder, and a Parsons, which is one of my favourite, which is an armless, simple design with a cushioned seat.
I think I'm sitting in one of those right now, but I never knew what it was called. This is fascinating and a very deep dive into chair vocabulary. This rabbit hole is endless, it seems.
I think so. That's where I stopped anyway. Turned back and came back to the pod.
No more splats for now, anyway. Let's move on.
Can we move on to kangaroo words?
We're going on to the past? Do you mean we've already talked about kangaroo words, Gav?
Do you remember what a kangaroo word is?
It's a word in a word. For example, encourage includes the word urge, which is the same meaning.
It contains the letters in the correct order, which is absolutely fascinating. So I had to find a few more, Em.
Great. I was really loving all the examples last time, so I'm happy to hear some more.
And I hope the followers are also just as excited.
I guess they are, Gav, yeah.
Has everyone got a pen and paper?
Oh, this sounds serious. I have, yes.
Okay, can you write the word destruction?
I can.
Can you tell me what synonym is contained within the word destruction?
Does it have any letters in the middle of these words, or would it be in one continuous word, so to speak?
They're usually scattered throughout the word.
Oh, so it's a bit like a puzzle.
I thought you'd like it, Em.
Destruction.
The first letter is the R.
Ruction? Does that... No.
R-U. Are you looking at the word written down?
I am. I'm not seeing it.
I think you are. The first two letters are R-U.
Ruin.
Well done, Em. Did you get there before the followers, do you think?
Who knows? I was taking forever. Ruin is in the word destruction, but not as a joined up word.
No, you have to find them. The letters are scattered somewhere within the bigger word.
Wait a sec. Are we suggesting that whoever created the word destruction wanted to put the word ruin in there, or is it just a coincidence?
I think it's a coincidence, but I have no evidence for that.
I'm not sure where these kangaroo words originate from. I mean, it's fascinating. Also, could just be someone with a lot of free time that's found these words in words.
It could be. Your second word, M, and the followers is devilish.
Well, devilish has the word devil in it.
Evil is correct.
Evil, but I mean, devil is in itself good and evil. God and devil, yeah?
Oh, I didn't think of that. But it does contain the word evil, so you got our kangaroo word.
Yeah.
Our next word, M, is masculine.
Masculine.
Which synonym is contained within masculine? Come on, followers, beat M.
Male?
It is male.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's cool. It's cool.
Plagiarist. Plagiarist.
Does it contain the word rip-off?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it?
That's nice, though.
Copy?
No.
It's not in there, is it?
Have a look at those letters, M.
Plagiarist.
It begins with an L. The second letter is an I.
This is difficult. Help me.
L-I-A.
Liar?
Liar.
Yeah, kinda.
It's a kind of synonym, isn't it? I
Not
like
really.
it, though.
I think it's like you're copying someone. I suppose you're lying about the fact it's yours.
Precisely.
All right, I'll give you that.
Right, couple more. Rambunctious.
Oh, what does that even mean? Rambunctious. What a great word that is. Got a lot of words in that.
It means uncontrollably exuberant, full of energy, cannot be controlled or stopped.
And that contains the word unctuous? I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Begins with an R.
Does it?
A. U.
Raucous? Ructious.
Raucous.
Raucous. Raucous. Meaning loud. Is
Yes.
it loud? Nice. These are not everyday words, Gav, but I love them.
Raucous meaning to make a harsh or loud sound. Last one. Supervisor.
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 Supervisor, sorry, stress on the supervisor. Supervise? No. What? Wait a minute. Supervisor. Well, I feel like you're trying to get me to say superior.
Correct.
But it doesn't have that in it.
Yes, it does.
Supervisor. Superi. Oh, it does. I don't like this game. I'm not very good at it.
Superior, which is a kind of synonym. I like that one.
Oh, it totally is. Yes. I mean, that is your position. You are superior. You just don't lord it over everyone.
That's true. We can now begin the show.
Okay, Gav, let's do it.
Quiz of...
What? What's happening?
We're going to do a special quiz of the week this time.
Special as in it's going to take the whole show to do it?
It is. It's all the remainder of the show. We're going to play a game with the followers.
Oh, what kind of game?
Followers, grab your pen and bit of paper
Well, they've
again.
already got it, Gav, because... Oh, you mean again? Okay, just pick that up again.
That includes you, Sergio, from Grammar Drops on Instagram and YouTube.
Hey, Sergio. Big shout out to you.
So I've got a big list of random idioms which I'm going to share with you, Em.
Okay, how are you going to share them?
They're on this piece of paper.
Got it.
You and I, Em, have to appropriately use as many of these idioms during our episode, and whoever uses the most wins. And followers, see if you can catch them all, just like Pokemon.
Ooh, so we've got to hide them in there somewhere seamlessly, as if it's just a conversation that we're having.
Yeah, and we'll tell the followers at the end of the show which idioms we used.
Right.
This could be a good activity in your classroom, Em.
I thought that too, Gav. You could put these idioms or phrases or even vocabulary words on a piece of paper and hand them out randomly to the students and then tell them to have a conversation about a topic and, hide those words in the conversation.
Just slip the slips of paper into your conversation and use the idioms appropriately, though, Em. You can't just use them anywhere.
You can't slip a slip of paper into it. Well, I mean, unless you're putting it up somebody's nose, but you would put the phrase into the conversation. Yes.
Which is written on the slip of paper.
Yes.
I've got it. So let's begin.
Let's begin.
Foundation,
Foundation.
basement,
Basement.
or cellar.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people ask me about this.
And students?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Students. Yes, Gav, I'm talking about my students.
And mine too. So I decided to make a lovely worksheet. And on my worksheet, I featured a few different pictures that represent the common uses of foundation, or foundations, basement, or cellar.
Yeah, I think it's easy when a student will say, I've got a cellar in my house, and I say, well, that sounds a bit old-fashioned. I mean, I think wine cellar.
I think wine cellar too.
Or just dark, damp, horrible place, maybe in the Middle Ages or something. So maybe now the modern word is basement. We tend to say, if it's a nice place, maybe with a pool table or something.
So that's the room below your house.
Yeah, so those two are quite easy to fix quickly, but how does foundation fit into this?
Well, for some reason, my students started saying foundation instead of basement or cellar.
Okay, so they need to go one level lower. foundation is under the whole house.
Well, it turns out the basement could be the foundations of the house.
Oh.
Which makes it kind of confusing. But for me, I always think of a concrete layer being the foundations the house or building sit on.
Me too, but maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree there. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Let's bite the bullet and begin defining the differences between foundation, basement and cellar. I'm going to describe the picture to you and you can tell me what is it expressing. So I've got the basic accounting principles. We're talking about accrual principle, conservative principle, consistency principle, cost principle, etc., etc. These are the
foundations of
accounting.
Okay. Yes, basic accounting, foundations of accounting.
So we're standing on the foundations. Our knowledge is flowing from there and we can perhaps build our knowledge going upwards.
Yeah. Does it help to make it sound like a real thing? I don't know. It's a knowledge database, isn't it? It's what you use to, like you said, grow your knowledge, but it's the start point. It's the root of your knowledge.
We are seeing eye to eye, Em. The second picture is showing some makeup and I think is it concealer? Maybe?
No, Gav, it's foundation. It's different. Concealer just goes into little bits like on spots and under your eyes, but foundation covers your whole face.
So that's foundation.
A bit like a building. You then put the bricks on top, which is the blush, the mascara, everything else. Yeah, it's kind of connected, isn't it? Those two things.
I guess so. I've got a couple more pictures. One of them shows two people talking to each other and one is saying why, the other is saying how. Does this suggest anything foundation, basement, cellar to you, Em?
No, not really, unless they're looking to buy a basement from somebody.
I was thinking it was the kind of foundation of the discussion or the argument or the conversation, but what is your knowledge, what is your wisdom, what is your argument based on? I used based there.
You did. So where does based come into this?
I was thinking foundation base are kind of connected there, the foundations of your argument or the
basis. The basis of your argument?
Basis is also possible.
Ooh, this is getting a bit difficult now.
Well, let's come back to base, because the last picture I have is of a very well-known charity organisation, which might also be referred to as
a foundation.
A foundation, which is typically owned by one individual or one company or one organisation, whereas a charity tends to be owned by a group of people.
Interesting. So coming from the word founder, perhaps. Foundation is the thing the founder creates.
Yeah, that's a good
point. Never knew that. That's really interesting.
This leads me to the final point, Em, which is where my student was talking to me about cooking, and they said, we had a fabulous pizza yesterday. The foundation was wholemeal bread.
Oh dear. That's tricky then, because it kind of is a foundation for a pizza.
But it's not the basement and it's not the cellar. Is it the basis?
No, it's the base. The pizza base.
It's all about the base.
All about the base. The base. The base. Oh, that's hard. So for students to understand the difference, I'm not sure I even understand. Wow, Gav, you're not cutting any corners on this.
No, I think it has to be done thoroughly and in depth.
Lots of examples.
Lots of examples,
yes.
Especially pictures, example sentences. I didn't realise just how many different ways we can use foundation, foundations, basement, cellar, basis or base.
Great. But would you teach all that in one lesson?
I might have to, and then I will come back to it. And when the student says, the foundation of my pizza was wholemeal bread, I might have to bring up my worksheet. In fact, I might have to add a few pictures now that we've had this conversation to my worksheet.
Yeah, you might have to. Well, Gav, would you like to know what I've been doing this week?
I would most definitely. Could you please share with me and the followers what you've been up to, Em?
Can I demo it with you?
I would love to have a demo. Em, I get to see your demos once in a blue moon.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe you need to do them more often for us on the show.
Today is a special day then. So we have been discussing science and nature and biology and astronomy.
Some of my favourite topics.
And I've found some fantastic fun facts for you. But you have to do some of the work, okay? I'm going to tell you the first part of my fun fact and you have to finish it. Are you ready?
I am always ready.
Right, well, good luck, Gav. Or should I say, break a leg?
Thanks, Em. I intend to.
So, we'll start with biology. The hummingbird is the only bird that can fly.
Vertically.
No, there are other birds that can do that, I think. The hummingbird is the only bird that can fly.
Fast.
No, there are lots of birds that fly fast, but it's the only one that can fly.
Em, can you help me a little? Because I'm not sure what the answer is.
Okay, I'm going to pretend to be a hummingbird now, okay?
Yep. Oh, what's that? Is it swimming?
No.
Oh, no, you're going backwards.
Yes, so what was it?
The hummingbird is the only bird that can go backwards.
Go?
Fly.
Yeah, fly. Fly backwards. Did you know that? Fly
I did not know that. That is fascinating. But they're so tiny.
I know. Have you ever seen one in real life?
I have never seen one fly backwards.
No, but have you ever seen one at all?
I don't think I have ever seen a hummingbird in the wild, although I think I saw one on the telly recently.
Yeah, I've seen them in documentaries. Okay, the next one. Earthworms have 5
long-term relationships.
on average. No, Gav, no. They might be quite monogamous. Earthworms have 5.
I was going to say stomachs.
No. You might be thinking about cows or something. Rudiments, is it? The animals that chew a lot and
Yes.
need to redigest.
Herds of them.
Not them, no. Earthworms have 5.
Mouths.
No. Have you ever seen an
Feet.
earthworm?
I
No,
don't know.
they don't
Eyes,
have
ears.
feet. No,
What,
no.
do you want me
no.
just to list things? Arms.
You're getting kind of... No, you're not close. Come on, think about not outside. Inside. They have 5...
Pancreases. Hearts.
Hearts. You got it.
I did get it.
They have 5 hearts.
This is not a piece of cake.
It's not, is it? You can Google it. Look at it. Look at the picture. There's a nice diagram.
I don't want to see how many 5 hearts
It's
in a worm.
drawn diagram. It's not a dissected worm. It's fascinating. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hearts.
One broken heart for every relationship.
Good one. Well, cats have 9 lives. It's only fair. The last one for biology actually crosses over to food science. Honey is the only food that never
ages.
Yes, first time. Yeah, you
I knew
got
that one.
You knew that.
I think they found some honey from ancient Egypt.
Yeah, I think it was Georgia, but you're right.
It was preserved and you could still taste it and it was yummy.
I'm not sure they put it on toast, but yeah, it's never going to go bad. And I did a little digging into honey, and do you know how bees make honey?
I do know how bees make honey. In fact, I was telling my students last week. What a coincidence.
Well, it is a coincidence.
I basically described how one bee was sick into another bee's mouth, and then that one was sick into the next bee's, and they just carried on being sick into each other's mouths until finally there is very little water left in the honey.
It's amazing stuff.
Should we have had a little disclaimer before I said that?
Maybe.
It's a bit gross.
It's a bit disgusting, but who knew that is where honey comes from and how it's made? We all know that the bees go to the flowers and then they go back to the hive. But after that, it's all a bit of a mystery, isn't it?
For some people, yeah.
You're very on the ball with this, Gav.
Give me some more of your super questions, because I'm really enjoying this.
We're going to move into astronomy now.
This might not be my specialised field.
Well, you can maybe guess. On Saturn and Jupiter, it doesn't rain water. It rains...
Nitrogen.
No. Ouch.
Mercury.
No. Think something a bit more solid than a liquid.
Lead.
No. Something that you might want to shine up and put on your finger, perhaps?
Is it gold? Silver?
Connected to the gold, maybe in a nice little mount? It rains.
Is it raining men?
No, no, I wouldn't want to put that on my finger, but I might want someone to put a ring on it. What would it be?
Platinum.
No, it's in the gold, in the silver. It's
Iron ore.
What? It's a rock, Gav.
Oh, you mean like a diamond?
Yes, it rains diamonds.
What?
Probably not the sparkly, nice kind.
Tell me the sentence. I need to repeat this sentence, Em.
You tell me. What do you think I said?
On the moon,
No.
on Saturn, and Jupiter, it rains diamonds.
Yes.
Em, what language am I practicing here? This is present simple for facts.
It is present simple for facts.
I like it.
And a nice bit of vocab.
And some general knowledge.
Last one, I'm going to tell you the whole fact, but I want you to try and explain it back to me, okay? Because it's a bit tricky.
Are you sure I couldn't guess it?
No, you definitely can't. But if I tell you a day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus, can you try and explain that to me, please? In your own words.
So it takes longer for the planet Venus to revolve around its axis than it takes for the planet to travel around the sun.
That was amazing.
Was it?
That was spot on.
Em, I've been beefing up my astronomy facts.
That is very impressive. This is what I've been doing, and it's generated some fabulous conversations. Students that watch documentaries or want to tell me fun facts, and you can expand on that, exactly what we did. You can talk about bee vomit, you can talk about hummingbirds, maybe trips to jungles. It can go a lot of different directions. It's really fun.
And if you don't know the answer to any of the questions the students might have, you've always got the internet.
Exactly. So you can Google it, you can look at pictures. If somebody doesn't quite understand, you can get a bit deeper into it. It's a nice one, that.
Imagine you have a new student in your class.
Yeah.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, full of enthusiasm. What can you suggest they do to improve their English? Now, the reason I mention this, Em, is because last week I had a new student and they were so enthusiastic and excited about beginning their English course with us that we spent a bit of time preparing the student for how to immerse themselves within the world of English. Now, what suggestions would you give my new student? And possibly all the students listening right now.
Yeah, it's a nice opportunity to regenerate that interest. I would do a lot of chat about what TV programs people watch, what podcasts they listen to, what books they read.
Hold your horses, Em. Do you need to determine the level of the student before you start suggesting what things would be most suitable?
Well, I guess you already know because you've had some information before they joined.
True.
And in my experience, a lot of my students, even at low level, want to watch TV or listen to music. They may not understand everything. They may watch it in their own language with dubbed audio or subtitles, but there's always somebody in the group or one student who's got something to say about it. So I think it's a good starting point to talk about interests, find out what the students' hobbies are, what they like to do in their free time, and then you can introduce some ideas, books, authors, podcast names, TV programs. I would start with that. You might want to suggest they buy a book, a study book. So either a business book or a general English book or a vocabulary book or a grammar book, depending on which skills they want to develop. And I would definitely offer homework at that point. I would ask them how often they want homework, what kind of homework, how long have they got to do that homework, and definitely provide them with some extra practice.
These are all really very good suggestions. So you've established what the student is into. When I say into, what do I mean there, Em?
Interested in. Ride on the wave of enthusiasm at the beginning, definitely. Encourage them to be motivated. If they're already motivated, that's fabulous. I wish all my students were as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as your student sounds when they join the group.
Thank you for your suggestions. I think all of those are very, very good. And we've really seen eye to eye on this episode. So now it's just time for us to conclude with Quiz of the Week. It is.
Quiz of the Week again.
Quiz of the Week again. So in conclusion, we were using a few idioms during the episode, which I'm sure the followers heard. We didn't do it that well. And actually, I was supposed to be making notes and I forgot.
Well, I've highlighted some of the ones I've said, so I think you should tell me.
You were really on the ball this time.
All right, we've stopped now. I think you should tell me the idioms you mentioned, and I will tell you what they mean. And then I will tell you the idioms I mentioned, and you tell me what you think they mean.
That is really good, because we don't want to be barking up the wrong tree with our expressions.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, you said that one, did you?
I said that one
Oh, I
first.
forgot. I'm going to stop now, because I'm all mouth and no trousers.
Okay, Gav, come back to me. We're doing the other thing now, okay?
I'm going to bite the bullet and just give the answers. So, I mentioned to see things eye to eye.
Meaning to agree with each other.
Yeah. I told you I was beefing up my facts, knowledge, all the info in my head about stars and planets and stuff.
That's good. So you mean you were expanding your knowledge, getting to a higher level, levelling up, let's say?
I like all those expressions, because we don't do this too often. In fact, we do it once in a blue moon.
That's it. Not too often. Very rarely or seldom.
But we were definitely on the ball today.
We were sharp. We were focused. We were concentrating and getting it right.
But I did have to tell you to hold your horses at one point.
Maybe I was being a little bit too presumptuous or going fast and you wanted me to slow down.
You were getting ahead of yourself, Em.
Yes.
I said your science quiz was not a piece of cake.
Meaning it was not easy, Gav.
That's right. I think I mentioned bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet, meaning just do it. Just get on with it. Let's just get this possibly nasty thing over with.
Take the plunge.
Stop with the idioms. Yes, it's a bit like that.
So which idioms did you use?
I said cut corners, and I don't know why. Can you remember? I don't know why I said it. I think I said we're not cutting corners today.
We shouldn't cut corners, which means we should do things thoroughly and not taking shortcuts and not miss out anything.
Okay, I also said, as we've mentioned before, barking up the wrong tree. I think that was about basement, cellar, foundation. I said I might be barking up the wrong tree with that one. What's that mean?
Meaning that you're taking the wrong route for your course of action, misinterpreting, misunderstanding.
Exactly.
Just going the wrong way.
Yeah, figuratively or physically, I guess.
I
But
think so.
Usually it's conceptually, isn't it?
Usually figurative, yeah.
I also said break a leg, Gav, at the beginning of the fun facts quiz.
Well, you were wishing me good luck. I think that's a reference to acting. They often say that.
Yes.
Originating in the theatre, where actors believed saying good luck would actually bring them bad luck.
Yeah, so kind of reverse psychology on that one, isn't it?
I guess so. Let's just hope it works, Em.
Yes. And the last one I said to you, Gav, was to be on the ball. What does that mean?
Did I not say on the ball?
I think we both said on the ball. I think there were a lot more idioms in there, but they were just not on our list, Gav. We say them all the time.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, riding the wave of learning English, all mouth and no trousers.
Take the plunge.
That's true. Idioms are everywhere.
You did a lot more than me, Gav. I think you won this one.
Maybe I was just using them randomly to see if they fit.
Well, that was the game, and they did, because I didn't stop you to say, what are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. So well done, Gav, and well done, followers. That was a very, very successful activity.
It was very demanding. I hope all of the followers were on the ball as well.
You are loving your idioms today, Gav.
I certainly am.
And Sergio, I hope you enjoyed that too. I know you're a fan of idioms.
As we all are. I will catch you after another fortnight of teaching and learning. And stay curious, although you know that curiosity killed the cat.
Nice. Bye for now.